Hello, curious minds. Hello, welcome to our channel, Top 10s You Should Know. Ever wonder why you're the type to lead meetings while your friend prefers to fade into the background? Or why your sibling thrives on chaos while you crave calm? What if I told you your personality isn't just a quirk, it's a roadmap to understanding yourself and others? Today, we're decoding top 10 personality types and what they say about you. From hidden strengths to blind spots, these insights will make you say, "That's me!" Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's turn I don't know into I get it now. Oh, and don't miss number 9. It's tied to Nobel Prize-winning research on creativity. Let's dive in. 1. The achiever. Ambition with a side of burnout. Let's start with the go-getter, the achiever. These folks thrive on goals, but often ignore their limits. A Harvard Business Review study found 60% of high achievers experience burnout because they push too hard. Here's where it gets real. I used to measure my worth by promotions. Then I crashed after my third project in a week. Now I ask, what's one thing I'll celebrate today? One viewer wrote, "I stopped chasing perfection and finally enjoy life." Another said, "I'm learning to rest after a win." Science snack. Dopamine drives achievers, but too much can lead to crash and burn cycles. Pro tip, pair ambition with self-care. I'll crush this goal and reward myself with a walk. 2. The empath. Emotional intelligence overload. Raise your hand if you've ever felt drained after absorbing everyone's emotions. Empaths pick up vibes like Wi-Fi. They're wired for connection, but prone to overload. A Cambridge study found empaths have 40% more active mirror neurons, the brain's empathy center. Here's my ritual. I used to take on others' stress until I learned to step back. Now I say, I hear you, but I can't carry this. One viewer raved, I stopped absorbing my coworkers' drama, and now I sleep better. Science snack. Empaths often score high in emotional intelligence, but low in boundaries. Pro tip, practice the energy cleanse. Visualize washing stress away after tough conversations. 3. The risk taker. Thriving on uncertainty. Ever jump into a new job, city, or relationship without a plan? Risk takers live for the unknown. A Stanford experiment found risk takers had 30% higher dopamine spikes during uncertainty. Here's my ritual. I used to panic over change until I reframed risks as growth fuel. Now I say, what's the worst that can happen? One viewer wrote, I moved abroad on a whim and landed my dream role. Science snack. Dopamine-driven brains crave novelty. It's why risk takers thrive in chaos. Pro tip, pair bold moves with reflection. Did this risk align with my values? 4. The perfectionist. High standards, high stress. Raise your hand if you've ever erased an entire task because it wasn't perfect. Perfectionists set sky-high expectations and often feel disappointed. A Stanford study found 70% of perfectionists experienced anxiety due to self-criticism. Here's where it gets real. I used to rewrite emails 10 times until I learned to say, done is better than perfect. One viewer raved, I stopped editing my resume for months and finally applied for my dream job. Science snack. Perfectionism rewires the brain to fear mistakes. Pro tip, use the 80% rule. Good enough is better than stalled. 5. The introvert. Quiet powerhouse. Introverts don't need loud parties to thrive. They recharge in solitude. A University of California study found introverts process sensory input more deeply, making them excellent strategists. Here's my ritual. I used to force myself into social circles. Now I schedule quiet time to reflect. One viewer wrote, I stopped forcing small talk and now I speak with purpose. Another said, I embrace my downtime and I'm more creative than ever. Science snack. Introverts have more active long-term thinking brain regions. Pro tip, don't apologize for needing space. Say, I'm recharging. I'll be sharper soon. 6. The rebel. Rule breaker with purpose. Rebels don't follow the crowd. They create their own path. A Psychology Today survey found rebels often challenge norms to spark innovation. But unchecked rebellion can lead to isolation. Here's my ritual. I used to rebel just to be seen. Now I ask, does this fight serve my growth? One viewer wrote, I stopped fighting small rules and focused on big change. Now I'm a leader. Science snack. Rebels have higher prefrontal cortex activity. They're wired to question authority. Pro tip, channel rebellion into creativity. How can I improve this system? 7. The diplomat. Master of harmony. Diplomats hate drama. They're the glue in every team. A Science of People report found diplomats increased group trust by 50% through active listening and compromise. Here's where it gets real. I used to avoid conflict until I learned to navigate it with grace. Now I say, let's find common ground. One viewer raved, I stopped letting office politics drag me down. I led a peace meeting. Science snack. Diplomats activate oxytocin when resolving disputes. It's the bonding hormone. Pro tip, use the 3 wins and 1 tweak method. Here's what works and 1 way to improve. 8. The Realist. Grounded yet cynical. Realists see the world as it is, not as they wish it to be. A University of Michigan study found realists made 30% fewer rash decisions. But unchecked realism can kill dreams. Here's my ritual. I used to scoff at vision boards until I paired realism with grounded optimism. Now I ask, what's one step toward this goal? One viewer wrote, I stopped dismissing my ideas and landed a promotion. Science snack. Realism protects against disappointment, but can mute passion if overused. Pro tip, balance this is realistic with what's one bold move I can make. 9. The Visionary. Dreamers with a plan. Visionaries don't just daydream, they act on their vision. A Nobel Prize-winning study on creativity found visionary thinkers often engage in divergent thinking, linking unrelated ideas to solve problems. Here's my ritual. I set aside 10 minutes daily to visualize my goals. One viewer wrote, I imagined my business thriving and made it real. Another said, I stopped doubting my dreams and started building them. Science snack. Divergent thinking lights up the brain's default mode network, where creativity lives. Pro tip, pair vision with action. I'll visualize success, then take 1 small step. 10. The Leader. Commanding presence. With humility. Leaders don't just give orders, they inspire action. A McKinsey report found humble leaders built 3x more loyal teams. Here's where it gets real. I used to think leadership meant authority. Now I lead with, we can do this together. One viewer raved, I stopped micromanaging and now my team respects me. Another said, I ask for input and my team owns our goals now. Science snack. Humble leaders activate mirror neurons. Others mirror their energy. Pro tip, use the serve first mindset. How can I help you succeed? Which personality type hit home? Were you nodding along to the diplomat, the visionary, or maybe the rebel that made you say, this is me? I love hearing your stories, like the viewer who said, I'm an introvert and finally own it. Or the one who wrote, I stopped rebelling just for the sake of it, and now I lead with purpose. If this resonated, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm you're here. Subscribe if you're ready to grow with me, and tap the bell so you never miss a tip. Until next time, remember, personality isn't weakness. It's your superpower. Every trait has hidden strength. Now go out there and own your type. Talk soon.